What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and I am that props girl, and I'm all about helping non-professional theatre makers, props designers, hobby crafters and decorators. Now if you can't tell by my voice, I'm actually not very well at the moment. I have a bit of a chest infection and I have been feeling very sick for a couple of weeks, but I'm on the mend, but it did change my plans in what I was going to film for you guys this week. But I still wanted to do some Christmas content for you guys, and I thought about it, and I don't know if you guys know, but I actually run a little Christmas business in making personalized baubles for people, and it's a lot of fun. And so I wanted to go through just how I make the Sparkle Baubles. Here is one that I prepared earlier, and you guys will see me making this one in just a couple of minutes. But yeah, so if you're keen to see that, then stick around. Be sure to smash the like button as it lets me know you want to see more of this content, as well as consider hitting that subscribe button and bell so that you don't miss a single one of my uploads. And with all that said and done, let's jump straight into this video. Now I have seen quite a few tutorials on this topic on the internet, but there aren't a lot that are actually Australian made, and I don't know if it's because we don't have many polyacrylic glues here in Australia. So mine is actually made with a polyurethane glue, which is carbonate clear, which I got in Bunnings Warehouse, and I have the matte one and it is water-based. Basically you just need to make sure that whatever glue you end up using is water-based. You can of course buy polyacrylic online. You could buy it on Amazon as well. This was just my local solution to making this work, and it works just the same. So essentially, of course, you're going to need baubles as well. I get my clear ones from Lincraft Australia. You can also order them online like most of these things. You will need a dropper of some sort. You could use a syringe. I use a little dropper at the end. I also have some longer ones that I use as well. I use a drink stirrer to stir up the glue before I use it. You will of course need glitter, and I use a funnel to put the glitter back into the canister when I'm done with it. So first things first is I take the glue and I stir it up, because like most water-based things, it does need a bit of a stir. And then I take my dropper and I just put my bauble in a cup just to raise it up and make sure that the base stays still. And I drop the glue into the top of the bauble. Now, it's best if you don't have air bubbles. It's very, very hard to avoid though. So if you do get air bubbles, it's not the end of the world. I like to put in a little more than I need. This was, I think, about 5 droppers full. And then you just twirl it around, basically. There's no need to swirl it. You just twirl it around evenly in your fingers and let it drain out the bottom. And then I just went in with a little bit more to make sure that the inside rim was coated. And now I set mine upside down in that same cup to drip out, and the length of time depends on how quickly it drains. I have found in my experience that it doesn't drain completely, because in the bottom of the rim sometimes it can sit there. It depends on which baubles you buy. I have got a set of baubles as well that are a different brand to this one, and the circle shape must be a bit more pointed at that end because it runs out perfectly fine on them. But if you do have this problem, you can just sort of shake it a little bit and tap it, but best to just let it drain out naturally. I tend to leave them sitting there for 5 to 10 minutes, and then I start on the glitter. Basically, I just take my glitter canister and I pour in as much as I think is going to coat the inside. And then I get a piece of wet paper towel to stick over the end to sort of seal it in place, and then I just shake it and swirl the glitter all around, and that basically coats it as it sticks to the glue. and you will probably find that you will have some left over, and all I do then is put the little funnel inside the glitter canister and put it all back in. Part 1 of actually making the glitter bauble is complete. Now you might find, and you might have spotted in that video, that I did have a little bit of glue that went down the sides. That's perfectly fine. You can just get a cloth and wipe that away, and as it's water-based, it should come off just fine. Now on to part 2, which is where my Cricut comes in handy. So I use Cricut Design Space to make the decals and stickers that go onto my baubles, and so this one is for a memory bauble which I had just released, which is making them in memory of anyone who has passed away. And so I go into Cricut Design Space, I pick my fonts, and I put in what it needs to say. The dimensions for each of these depends on the size of the bauble. This is my largest size, and this one is 100 millimeters. So I like to make sure that the font is at a maximum of 800 millimeters, so around about 8 centimeters, if not smaller. You can play around with it. It also depends on what kind of word you're doing, because if you're doing big names, it's going to take up a lot more space. So the more you play around with it, the better you'll be at judging the sizes. But as I said, I basically pop it in Cricut Design Space, and my Cricut does all the work. Once they're printed, I weed them with the Cricut tools and basically have the decals and words ready to go, and use transfer tape to put them carefully onto the bauble. It's easier to do if you place the bauble on a surface. Sometimes I like to pop it in that cup again just to make sure that it's sitting upright, and that way I can eyeball where center is a bit better. Different people have different methods of this, but because it is on a round surface, placement is really important, and it can be very tricky as well. And I found over the years that not all shapes and patterns work very well on a round surface, so I've learned that through trial and error. But these things just come with practice. And on to the final step now, which is to place the ribbons on. So I use white ribbon usually, but you can use whatever ribbon you like, and tie the ribbon in the end of the bauble. That's going to be where it hangs on the tree. And then I make a little bow and glue that on to the top of the bauble. And there you go, it sits absolutely beautifully on a tree. I love how this one turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to smash the like button if you did, as well as consider hitting that subscribe button and bell. Hopefully the next time you see me, I am not as sick, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.